What is going on, homies? It's your boy StumpD back for another OPTC video, and in today's video we're going to be breaking down all of the banners that are live for the 9th anniversary and finally doing my should you summon and where to summon video for this particular anniversary, as we now have all the information for what we believe to be all of the parts that are coming. We have 3 Super Sugos being Zoro, Sanji, and Luffy Yamato. And then we have an anniversary exclusive of Odin and Toki, as well as 2 regular batch legends being Queen and Albert or Chad King. So, in today's video, we're going to break down all 9 banners. Yes, there are 9 banners, technically, because there are 3 parts to each one, and where I think that your best value is summoned. So, starting off, if we scroll down, all the way down, it feels like forever ago. If we go all the way down here to where's Pete? Here it is, right here. So this is the Luffy part of the Super Sugo Fest with Luffy, Yamato, and Odin and Toki. Now, as of this moment, now I haven't had a chance to really use Zoro at all. Obviously, he's not out as of me recording this video. But from what I can see on paper, Zoro does seem to be the most fun out of the Super Sugos. Sanji obviously has the new Rush ability, which is very exciting. However, out of the 3, I do think that Luffy Yamato is the best of the 3. Does that mean that they're the character that you should summon for? That's up to you. They're the most boring, like hands down the most boring of the 3. But in my opinion, they are the best. And I do want to put a disclaimer in saying that you don't have to take my advice here. This is just a recommendation for most players. For what you want to be summoning for, if you have waited for all the banners, or if you've done some summons and you're sort of just waiting to see what else to go in on. But hopefully, if you guys saw my should you summon videos, the shorts that I put up on the channel, I did say that going to the 6th multi on part 1 of this particular banner is very good value, because you get 5 reds, one of them being a rate boosted red, and you have a chance of getting both Odin and Toki and Luffy Yamato on the same banner. Plus, we had the Blitz. Plus, we have PK. These characters are very good for that. And Luffy Yamato has shown that in Treasure Map and in Super Boss Kazuna, they are going to be very, very good. Like, just kind of like when Uta came out for the Film Red celebration, and everyone's up in arms because this is very similar, that Uta was the best of the 3 across the board for that celebration. I think moving forward, Luffy Yamato are going to be the best of these 3. They're going to see the most play because they bring so much to your team. They bring a 2.5 times color affinity boost, a 3.25 times orb to 3 colors, and they give you a 2 times increased damage that goes through full immunity. Like I said, yes, they're pretty wonky with Strength, Dex, and Quick and Free Spirit, but if you are running this batch, like, you are going to be absolutely fine. So, in my opinion, I think if you are going to summon, or you haven't already, doing the 6 multis on part 1 is in your best interest. If you then really want to chase Luffy and Yamato, heading over here and doing the 5 multis here to get to the limited step would be in your best interest to do that. As for Odin and Toki are an interesting one. I don't really see them having too much effectiveness in the future, but I am keen to see how they go in Super Boss with K-Dad. They definitely work really, really well with K-Dad. Excuse me. But moving forward, I don't think they're going to be a super desirable legend. Plus, their banner, whilst Roger has like Luffy and verse Kaido Yamato, there's nothing really here that sort of screams out at me like that you must have. Roger is on another part as well, which we'll touch on. But other than like verse Kaido Yamato, this banner isn't really there. But as for the character that I think that has the most value, heading for Luffy Yamato and getting your hands on this character is going to be very, very good for a lot of players' account, especially new players. Moving over to the second banner now, or the second part, the Sanji part, we had Sanji and Queen. Now, Queen is a regular batch legend, so Queen is not a character you should be chasing at all. If you got lucky and you got Queen, awesome, but there is a little bit of a disclaimer with the Queen banner, and we'll touch on that once we get there. But as we go down, like I said, Sanji has the new Rush mechanic, which is very exciting. And honestly, Sanji's right there for me. Like, he's right there behind Luffy Yamato. Only just, like, what this guy brings to the table is so good that he's very, very valuable to have, especially as a sub, because he has a captain swap. He can give you a super class for free spirits. He's a chain boundary unit. He's a chain boosting unit. If you use the Brook support, he's a chain multiplicative unit. He also gives base stats as well, so you can do some crazy stuff there. On top of that, he has that rush ability, which is very, very powerful. Chasing Sanji is not a bad idea. If you guys want to use the new mechanic as well, like go for gold. He boosts free spirits and fighters, so as a captain, he's nowhere near as versatile as Luffy and Yamato, being like a rainbow-based captain, on top of being just an insane 6 times, just strength, dex, and quick. But Sanji's still very, very good. Obviously, he's boosted at the moment for treasure map, so if you were waiting for Zoro then to decide, I do think Sanji has more value than Zoro, to be honest. However, when we get to Zoro, like we'll definitely touch on him there. But for majority of the game, Luffy and Yamato are going to be really good, but Sanji is going to provide Luffy and Yamato so much. As for the part to summon on, again, going in on the first 6 steps on part 1 is very good value, but I would definitely not do more than that. And honestly, just because Sanji is so much better than Queen, being a Super Sugo, going in on Sanji's part is incredibly valuable. The first 5 steps, honestly, even going to the 8th step or the 10th step, getting that super limited pool would be very, very good value for most players if you have been building up gems or you have been saving. Or if, say, you've already gone to the 5th and you haven't got Sanji and you're thinking about doing more, going to the 10th is definitely a shout, as Sanji is very, very good. As for Queen, though, as I mentioned, Queen is a regular batch legend. So that kind of sucks. But if you have a look on Queen's banner, you might notice a particular Super Sugo Fest that I do believe is still the best legend in the game, and that is Super Sugo Fest Super Tandem Nami. This unit's crazy, and on top of that, you also have Roger and Ace Yamato. Now, if you're a newer player, Ace Yamato can basically carry you through like 99% of the game. If you guys don't have Goldie Roger, he is like by far the best Grand Party unit, so he's going to help out there. And Nami, like I said, they do everything in their power to try and nerf Nami, because she is a broken unit that was an absolute mistake. So if you want to summon for these characters in particular, they're all on part 1, so you could try your luck there. But again, I don't think going past 6 multis for most people is worth your time. But if you do want to try and get your hands on these 3 particular, and then have like bag Queen along the way, these should be the more the priority than what Queen actually is. Queen's good, but Queen needs a lot of help from Jack, King, and verse Kaido. So if you're missing those pieces to the puzzle, Queen's not going to have a lot of value on your account. However, Nami, verse Ace Yamato, and Roger for mid start to mid game players, and even like end game players alike, these characters are going to be really good. And if you have Nami as well, and you're a bit of a whale, you're chasing dupes, like this is definitely the place to do it. So very, very good value banner that Queen has, but unfortunately, like Sanji's definitely the way to go on this particular banner. So skipping part 1 for the Sanji part may be the wave for most people. Trying to pick up maybe 1 copy of Sanji and then go for like Nami and that if you're missing those units. But like I said, Sanji, he's right there, and like Queen needs pieces of the puzzle. As for the final banner, this particular banner right here with Albert and Zoro. Now, these 2 units are the final piece of the puzzle, and they have a Kazuna banner. Something I didn't touch on with Sanji's banner, actually, is there's a bunch of treasure map characters on that banner as well. So that's pretty nice if you just don't normally summon on treasure map banners themselves. You have the rare recruits, you have the legends there, so that's also some fun value. As for Albert and Zoro, this is technically our Kazuna banner. So there's going to be Kazuna legends, there's going to be Kazuna rare recruits, and these particular banners are interesting because the Jack banner goes away, which means that Jack is actually available not only on part 1, but he's also available on part 3. Super interesting. So with Zoro, I do think, again, I haven't had a chance to really I don't have Zoro at this moment. But from what I see on paper, Zoro just seems to be a better version of Super Tandem Kaido, which for Super Boss is going to be really, really good. Like, really, really good. So if you're a Super Boss stan, having this unit is going to be amazing. Because what he does is just incredible with his Super Tandem. He's basically like a weaker version of Nami with his 2.5 and then a 0.25 to the conditional. But he also has that ability to give conditional to increase damage taken and apply increased damage through full immunity. So that's very good. Again, doing 6 multis on part 1 is pretty good value because both Albert and Zoro are very, very good. I do think King is exceptional. Like, he's just such a fantastic unit. And if you have a look here, you've also got Perispera and Kazuna rate boosted on part 1. These are two of the newer Kazuna legends, which are very, very good. And then you also have Sop Sop on this banner too, which is a great value. You have Hiyori tier 2, which is awesome. And some other sort of fodder characters. But on top of that, you have all of the Kazuna Clash legends. Stereotypically, Kazuna Clash legends are way better than Treasure Map characters. And a big one here is actually Sabo and Ace, Toki, and X-Drake. These three characters are actually fantastic. Sabo Ace is great for like a lot of the Grand Voyages. Toki is really, really good. And X-Drake is Super Tandem Kaido's best friend. So if you're missing these characters, then go for gold again. All of the Super Sugos are here as well. So you might get lucky for that. But chasing these, like I said, it's a bit hard on part 1. As for the actual parts themselves, Robin is on part 3. And on part 2, you have the Film Red Luffy. Part 2, honestly, the Super Sugos aren't that great. Like, the Film Red Luffy's really, really good. Yamato's great, but she's nothing too flash. But Sabo and Ace and Zora are the two big ones on this particular banner. Rayleigh Gabbana great too, and then the rest of these characters kind of suck, if I'm honest. Like, Frankie Tanky's pretty good, and so's Law. But, like, they've been on every single banner. So, part 2 doesn't have that great value. And if you're not prioritizing, like, Super Boss as your, like, if you're not, like, an end game player, summoning on part 2 here would be a little bit challenging, unless you're just literally hunting Zoro. If you're literally hunting Zoro, it's a great spot. But honestly, I would try your luck on part 1 for the first 6 multis first, and sort of see how you go there. As for part 3, this banner is kind of crazy. Like, you have X-Drake, you have Super Tandem Kaido, and you have Robin. On top of that, Roger's back. Like, Roger's on this banner again. They just throwing Roger everywhere. They also have Kid here as well, which is great for PvP. And you have Jack. Jack was literally the last Sugofest character for release, before Anniversary. So the fact that he's here, on top of having King, is incredibly valuable. Robin got a huge buff with this Zoro as well. So if you don't have Robin at Final Tap level 5, picking up copies of her here is actually great. You also have X-Drake, you have the Beast Pirates and Capone Pirates, which are kind of whatever, but X-Drake's really, really good here too. So doing some multis on this part is not a terrible idea as well. And I do think these banners do have some of the better value than any of the other actual banners besides maybe the Queen. So throwing some multis here is definitely not going to hurt either. But that's going to wrap up the video. Let me know in the comment section below where you guys are actually summoning, where you have summoned, who you're chasing, and what you're actually looking for the rest of the Anniversary. But while you're down there, don't forget to hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, hit the big red subscribe button. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. Best of luck if you guys are summoning, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Oh, thanks for watching, you beautiful sons of a bitches. Lates!